Hello again, students. Mr. Reeves back with you. And in this video, we're going to be looking at finding the area, or rather the surface area, of rectangular prisms. All right, so just a quick discussion about vocabulary. What is a rectangular prism? Well, it's a three-dimensional solid, and it's made up of only rectangles. That's why it's called rectangular. And the bases are the same or congruent, and that's what makes it a prism. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some extra lines here to kind of give you a little bit more of a three-dimensional picture here. So in a prism, you always have two bases that are congruent. Let's see if I can get a closer color to that one that we have there. I don't know how great that is. How about that one? I don't know. We'll try that one. How about that? All right. So I'm going to color this one over here. Not great at all. It's too big. We got to make this smaller. All right. How about now? Well, it's still not dark enough, but that's all right. So this one here, oh, this face, and this is called a face, by the way. This face over here and this face right here are congruent. So we call those the bases. The bases are always parallel to each other. They're always across from each other. And they're called the bases, and they're rectangles. So this is a rectangular prism. If they were triangles, it'd be triangular prism. Or if they were circles, we call that a cylinder. So those are the bases, and then you have the other faces, and those are called the lateral faces. So when we find the surface area, or a lot of times we refer to it as the total surface area, we're finding the area of all of those faces added together. Now, I've always thought that the easiest way to do it is simply to find the area of all of the faces and then add them together. There are some formulas you can use, and I might even show you that formula, but you don't actually have to know a new formula for finding surface area. You just have to know how to find the area of the surfaces. So here we go. So let's actually start with this base right here. It's a rectangle, right? So I'm going to call that base 1. So the area of base 1 is 1 times 2, or 2, right? Well, this one over here is exactly the same, right? So what we then would say is B2 is also 2, right? So we have those. All right, so base 1 and base 2 is 2 and 2. All right, now let's take a look at this lateral face right here. Actually, maybe I'll highlight it instead of doing that. So I'm going to do this lateral face on this side. Can you guys see that one right there? Okay, so that right there is going to be what? 5 by 2, right? Because this is 2 high. Same as that, right? So 5 times 2. So I'm going to go ahead and call that one, I'm going to put LF for lateral face 1. That's going to be 2 times 5, right? And that's going to be 10. And then straight across from that over here, right? This one, straight across from it. Can you see which one I'm coloring in? I hope you can, right? It's actually behind it. This part right here makes it easier to see behind it. I'm going to call that lateral face 2. And those are going to be the same, so that's also 10, right? So what haven't we done yet? We've done this base and this base. We've done this face and this face. We haven't done the top and the bottom yet, right? So this right here on the top, kind of not super easy to see. I'm coloring blue over the orange, right? That one right there, what do we have right there? So for that one, it's this right here, which is 1, right? And this right here, which is 5. All right, so I'm going to call that lateral face top. How about that? That's going to be the lateral face top. That is 5 times 1, which is 5. And then we're going to have the lateral face on the bottom, right? That one down here is going to be the same down there at the bottom. Okay, so lateral face bottom is also 5. So when we put all this together, what we end up with is 2 times 2, right? Plus 10 times 2 plus 5 times 2. And 2 times 2 is 4, and 10 times 2 is 20, and 5 times 2 is 10. And when we add those together, we get 34. And the units, by the way, would be square yards. Just a reminder, because we're working with area, our units are always square yards. So I'm going to go ahead and check my answer. That's the great thing about IXL. One of the great things is it will always let us know if we did it correctly or not. What just happened there? Let's try this again. 34 square yards. All right. Okay, let's take a look at this one now. Now, this one actually is a cube. You guys can see that this is a cube, right? Because all of these edge lengths are the same. So I could go through and do it like I just did it in the previous one, right? I can draw my lines in. Let's see how well I can do here. If I come down, I think it might be easier to go across like this, about to there, and then down. And then this isn't perfect. All right. So I could, if I spent a little more time, I could do a better job, but you guys get the idea, right? So we still have those ones that are across from each other. I could call this one, remember I colored in purple, that one. I can make these two my bases, although I hope you can see on a cube, right, that they're all exactly the same. So any of them actually could be the bases. And then what did I do? I did the front and I did the back, right, in orange. And then I did the top and I did the bottom in blue, right? So we could do it all that way, and I could do it in pairs. But the great thing about a cube is all of those are the same, right? So for any one of these, I'm just going to call it a face. For any face, the area is going to be 3 times 3 or 9, right? So the area of that face is 9 square inches of that one, right? But guess what? They're all exactly the same. So for a cube, and this only works for a cube, you could just do the area of one face times 6, right? Because there are 6 of those. 9 times 6 is 54. And so the area or the surface area of this cube is going to be 54 square inches. 54 square inches. So let's go ahead and put that in. 54 square inches. And we are good to go. All right. So again, we have another one here. I'm going to go skip to a higher level. Let's see what they have at the next more difficult level. Doesn't look any more difficult. Looks a lot like the last one. All right. What about the challenge zone? What do they got for us in the, oh, in the challenge zone, they took the picture away. Well, I want to have the, actually, this is a good idea where they give us the words and we have to draw the picture. All right. So it's a rectangular prism that is 11 by 11 by 18. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and try to sketch this out. Now you got to keep in mind that I've been doing this for years, so I may be a little better at it than you might be. And now that I said that, you know it's going to be really, really bad, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw it out like this. So here we go. So this one right here is, here, I'm going to label it in blue. This is going to be my 11 inches, right? This one here is going to be my 11. Actually, it's not inches, Mr. Reeves. Oh, and I just erased part of that line. Centimeters, centimeters. And this one right here is going to be 18 centimeters. I really should have drawn this lower, right? Okay, so now if I were to finish off this picture here, right, I would have to put the top on here. Wow. All right, so I'm cheating a little bit right here. So that's going to give me this rectangle, this face right here. That's going to be what? 11 by 18. All right, so I'm going to call this face 1. And face 1 is going to be 11 times 18. And when you do 11 times 18, you get 198. And that would be square centimeters, right? So I just found the area of this right here. Okay, now I'm going to come back this way and then come down. All right, and now I'm going to do this one right here. And that one is also what, 11 by 18. All right, so I'm going to call that, actually, I'm going to put phase 2. We're going to come back to that. Okay, I'm going to call this one phase 3 right here. You'll know why in a minute why I'm calling it phase 3. So phase 3 is also 11 times 18, or 198 square centimeters. All right, and then I'm going to put a top on this. All right, so then I'm going to come like this and like that. And oh my goodness, we have our rectangular prism. All right, and the top part, I'm going to stick with my color theme here. I'm going to make that one blue. All right, I'm going to, again, I'm going to skip to F5. In fact, actually, I'm going to call this FT for top, okay? What is our top dimension? Our top dimension, do you see how the bottom is 11 by 11? The top would also be 11 by 11. And 11 times 11 is going to be 121 centimeters squared. And then what one would I put here? That would be the bottom, right? Okay, now why did I do it this way? I bet you guys know why I did it this way. Because straight across from here, and now I'm going to go to my dotted lines, right? Straight across from this one, if I come down like this and over, and I go over like that. All right, again, that should actually be a little lower. That's a little crooked. All right, I'm going to try to make it a little bit better there. All right, and then this one should actually come down. No, not that one. That one, right to there. All right, that's a little better. All right, so straight across over here, right, I have another purple one, right? This one right here. And again, it gets kind of confusing how things overlap, but this purple one over here is going to be my F2. And F2 is another face just like that one, and it's going to be the same. So it's also going to be 198 centimeters squared. All right, so F3, and it kind of got mixed up with this F2 here, but again, F3 was this front one here, right? This one on the front. Well, right in the back. What do we have right there in the back? Straight across from it is our F4. And again, these things start to overlap. I hope you can see this in 3 dimensions. F4 is going to be the same, right? It might have been good to call F3 the front and F4 the back, but those are the same. All right. And then finally we did the top, and then what do we have? Down here we have the bottom. Thankfully that bottom's kind of easier to see, right? We have the top up here and we have the bottom down there, and those are also going to be the same. So when I go to find the area of this rectangular prism, I'm going to have 198 times 2 because there's 2 of those faces, right? And then I'm going to have 198 times 2 again. And if you're thinking, couldn't you have just done 198 times 4? Absolutely, I could have. And then I have 121 times 2. And when I put all of those together, that's going to give me the total surface area. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to do 198 times, and this time, you know what? I am going to do times 4, okay? Because I've got 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 of those 198s plus 121. I have 2 of those 121s. And when I do that, what do I end up with? 1,034. 1,034 square centimeters. Let's see what IXL says. Did we do it correctly? We did. Awesome. All right. So I hope that helps you with finding the area of rectangular prisms and cubes. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.